Hey, everybody. All right. Hope you can hear me okay. Let me know that you can hear me. That would be awesome. And hopefully you can hear the guitar too. That would also be great. Hey, Matt, how are you, buddy? Good to see you on this Sunday morning / afternoon. Hey, awesome, TBA. Glad to let me know, or thanks for letting me know. So looks like a couple of people are on. All right. We'll wait for a few more people to come on. Today we're going to do something I think pretty simple, but hopefully helpful, and something that you can play along with. This is something that I played for years and years and years and never realized. And then when somebody showed it to me, I was just like mind blown. So very, very useful stuff. So hopefully we can do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to, hey, John, thanks a lot, buddy. Appreciate it. What we're going to do today is go over what I think hey, 3-card Monty. How you doing, Dave? Tramp Groove, Oz Redding, Stax Records. Okay, I'll write it down. Tramp Groove. Got it. All right. Love Otis. Okay. Oops, I dropped the pick. I have like only 8 of them on the side. Okay. Well, what we're going to do today is we're going to do simple, and I mean really simple blues grooves from really sort of basic shuffle stuff to things to say, you know, what can you add to that to make it a little more interesting? And then if you're not the only guitar player, or if you want to play something that's a little bit different, what can you do? And you know, you can always play with the first guitar player's playing, but you know, it's not always necessarily the best thing to do that. So and then we'll just take, you know, any questions or comments or whatever we can talk about, whatever, for a half hour or so, and then I'm going fishing. So that's what's going on today. Let's see. So I got my, you know, my other. Oh, hey, check this out. I changed the pickup covers, I think, to cream. I think it looks a lot better, personally. Anyway, I'm liking this. And I had I reset the heights of the pickups and wired the tone knob. This was wired as a classic Strat, and it was wired without the tone knob on the bridge pickup, like the original Strats were. If you find an original Strat, you'll find that it was not, unless it's rewired. It left this super, super, super trebly, and too much for my ears. It's a little too harsh. So I wired this one in so the tone knob works. So I can get better, I think, better sounds now. Anyway, so let's go over the basic, what the heck? Let's go over the basic stuff. I'm going to kind of cross my legs here so I can get the guitar in. So we're going to play this stuff in A, and I've got a looper pedal down there with some pre-done loops as well for later. But, you know, I'm sure all of you are familiar with the, thanks, Dave. Appreciate that. Hey, good morning, Embry. How are you doing this fine morning? So I'm sure you can all appreciate the very normal blues shuffle, right? We've all heard it, the 4 of them, right? And now to D. Back to A. Just play the whole thing once. Now to E. Now to D. And to A. Now to turn around. Back to E. And it repeats, right? So just a couple of things to keep in mind if you haven't encountered it yet. I still hear a lot of beginning players play this, or like, so it's kind of like a hesitation there. It's syncopated, right? So it's, all of those are not created equal. The first one gets a little bit more. Second thing is palm muting, right? So I'm palm muting with the right hand. I think all of you are good with that one. You palm mute so it doesn't go like, you don't want that. This is more what you want. right? And then finally, the first beat gets a much stronger hit than the second one. You know, so if you just kind of adhere to that sort of stuff, I think you'd be fine. So that's just playing, you know, your power chords. Another thing that you can do with this, very simple, is to add the seventh. That works great. Another thing you can do is do the major minor thing on the string that's open. So for this one, we're playing the A, right? Or any sort of permutation that you want of that. And then you can put them all together. Right? All that stuff's really basic. I get it. And you can even pick up. You know, that kind of stuff. So, you know, take your time to get that stuff. There's countless blues numbers, if you listen to them, that are based off of that basic shuffle. And it's amazing how creative you can do with just really simple ideas on that. Now, that's sort of like really super basics. Another is to play, and we're playing all this in A, is to sort of do the Buddy Guy box, if you will. So that's another viable option as well. You hear, again, countless permutations of that. So here I'm playing the root on the sixth, jumping up a whole octave, and then coming down on that box. And employing other things like hammer-ons and pull-offs. All right, so you can do all that kind of stuff, right? So all of that's great. One more is the boogie, right? So the boogie is kind of, that's another simple one to learn. Sort of taken from piano. And, you know, obviously the easy thing about playing all these enclosed is you just play the sixth, then you play the fifth in the same fret position. And to get the 5 chord, you play up just 2 frets, right? And all of that kind of fits, and it's really simple stuff. All that's great. Now, there's a couple of other things that you can do that I found kind of useful. And people, there's somebody who constantly will ask me, you know, I'm a huge believer that as guitarists, we already play way too much. We play way more than we should, because at least if you're like me, I grew up with the, you know, a lot of the strumming, you know, even the Pinball Wizard. You know, that kind of stuff. And it's, you know, playing all 6 strings. And unless there's only one guitar and no other instruments, that gets in the way of a lot of stuff. So it's helpful if we play single notes or simple stuff. But somebody keeps asking me, hey, well, what if you're in a power trio or whatever? So here's kind of a way of handling if you're in a power trio, or if you're playing something like that, you're playing a boogie. Occasionally you want to play a chord, because that chord can let everybody else know what the harmony is, right? And what the changes are, in a way that maybe playing single notes is not that easy to pick up. So you can play something like this. So let's do the boogie. So you hear what's going on there? Now, central to the blues is essentially dominant seventh chords. We're not talking about a minor blues. Minor blues is cool too, and these ideas that I'm going to show you in just a second all work in the minor blues as well. But excuse me, with seventh chords, and with seventh chords, you can approach them on the beat before by 1 fret down. That's actually a really powerful idea. So instead of just playing the A, you know, when you're doing the, say we're playing the quick blues, right, which is an A to a D, back to the A for 2B. Every time you come to a change, try playing either one note below or one note above and then moving to the chord, like so. Works. It provides just a little bit of movement that makes it a lot easier. And notice I'm playing 3-note chords there. I'm not playing the full, that kind of stuff, which I don't like all those extra notes when I'm playing. Okay, so what if you're the second guitarist, and what if you're the second guitarist and you want to play other things, right? I want to show you at least a couple of things. What I'm going to suggest is that one of the great ways to do it that somebody showed me, and I actually heard it on a Robben Ford technical video, and it never really registered. And then somebody else showed me this, and I was just amazed, is to play 2-note chords. I gave 3 fingers, 2-note chords. So 2-note chords are double stops, for example, but we can also play sixths and things like that. But I would have, one of the things that the way that this person showed me and was really powerful is to say, I said, well, when you play a dominant seventh, what are the key notes that really give it the flavor of the chord? You can get away with not playing the root, the A. Here I played an A7. You can get away with not playing an A. And you can get away with not playing the fifth, okay, which is an E here. And you can just play the third and the seventh. And it gives you the right flavor of the chord. Or here's another way of playing the third and seventh. Okay, and it's a flatted seventh in a dominant chord. I should talk about just this tiny amount of theory. And a dominant seventh has the 1, the 3, the 5, and the flatted seventh. Okay, so it's a 1, 3, 5 flatted seventh. So if we're going to play the A, that would be an A, that would be a C sharp, that would be an E, and it would be a G. Okay, and the 2 key notes in there are simply the flatted seventh and the third. And it works incredibly well to just play that. Now, here's the kicker. If we're playing it, let's say we're playing an A blues, right? So let's play the third and the seventh of that A chord. There we go. Now let's do the same thing for the D7 when we move to that. So here's the full D7. Okay, now let me just play the third and the seventh. Now, which one is which? Yeah, so this is the third, and this is the seventh. Seventh is a C, the third is a F sharp, and the D. Now check that out. All I did from going from the A7 to the D7 was move 1 fret down, this exact shape. Right? Amazing. It's really that simple. And those are great chords to start out. Now, how do I find that E7? Guess what? It's just that same shape, 1 fret up. It's amazing. And check it out when we're playing. Let's play sort of like a boogie. It's kind of fast, but let's just check it out. and it works. In all you have to do is just play those 2-note chords, and it gets a little bit boring playing that, so you can start to find other notes that you can move to, like for example suspending the third, or playing a suspended fourth, which for the A would be this. Something like that works. But all of those 2-note chords exist in lots of different places. If we find all the A7ths, right, here's one right here. Same thing. Here's the third and the flatted 7th. And now let's play the D7. Guess where that's going to be? Same formation, 1 fret down. Right? And how about the E7? So you can find it all sorts of places all over. Here's another 2-note chord with the A7 right here. It works. Play other formations. That sort of idea works so often, it's amazing. Here's another place. Okay, it's getting boring at this point, right? So all you have to do is map out all the different 7th chords, find the A's, right? So here's one right here. Here's one right here. And here's one right here. Right? Root right here. Not meaning anything to you guys. Right here on 2nd string, 10th fret, that's an A. Right? Anyway, it works amazingly well. So 2-note chords, I would say start out with those. And then once you get those, you can try any other 2 notes in the same chord, and you'll find it gives you a slightly different sound. And then you can start separating the notes as well. So, you know, we've all heard this one. Sixths, right? Those are just sixths. Those are just 2-note chords, and those work really well over it as well. You know, so let's try this again. Etc. So yeah, so I don't know what else to. I guess I could kind of get it more organized and do sixths, and then, you know, we could even do these chords, right? Add some other notes in to make like a 9th. I'm sure you've heard this one. And so forth. All right, so that's it. That's what I wanted to cover today, was just sort of basic blues, and, you know, what you can do with the shuffle, what you can do with some of the other stuff. And I'll tell you, those 2-note chords, if you haven't yet tried it, try doing that, mapping out the 3rd and the 7th of the chord for each of them, and try not to move much at all. If you didn't get what I was doing there, there's a tremendous amount of power in that, and you can play really simple things and they'll sound powerful. I mean, that's the beauty of that sort of method. If you listen to really good players like Robben Ford, for example, or Larry Carlton, they're not playing big chords. They're playing parts of chords for the most part. You know, of course, Larry Carlton in the Don't Take Me Alive, he's got that one weird chord in the beginning. But for the most part, he's not playing big chords. He's playing small chords. And just playing the right notes, right? Let the bass do what they're doing. Let the singer do the Hammond organ, and it just sounds like a unit better than if it's a, you know, mush playing, you know, that kind of stuff. All right. So anyway, yeah, that's it. So I don't know, gang. What else you got going on this Sunday? I was saying I'm about to go fishing, but anybody else got anything fun they're gonna do? Anybody seen any music today? No music. All right. Okay. Hey, what topics should we do for next week? I was thinking maybe we go back to more of a conversational topic instead of a lesson sort of topic. Yeah, Embry, I agree, man. Playing triads, or again, you know, triads, 3-note chords. I even will use the word a seventh triad, even though there really is no such thing, right? Because in order to make a seventh chord, you need 4 notes. But if you drop out the root note and play what's left, you often get, you know, great sounding stuff. And if you listen to, you know, the Motown guys, they were all using triads and so forth. Diamond Head Later. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. Diamond Head Later. What's that, Robert? Can you explain that just a little bit more? Playing over changes. Okay. Yeah, you know, I kind of go back and forth on that one, but we can do jazzier stuff and show how to play over different changes. The one I just posted yesterday has some pretty simple key changes. So that's kind of an interesting way to think about playing over changes. But yeah, you know, I hate to say this, but I find one of the best ways of thinking about soloing is thinking about the simple chords that are behind it. So, you know, when I'm thinking about playing an A blues, for example, Diamond Head. Okay, I'll check them out then, Robert. Diamond Head. Okay, we'll check them out. British band. Okay, got it. So, for example, you know, if I'm playing over that A, over this, I might think about this 7th chord, right? And then going to that D, I'm really just thinking about the chords that I'm playing more than any sort of scale. I go back and forth in my brain because I learned scales. I didn't learn the method that I think, you know, swing jazz players learned, which was to really play over chords. And I had to force myself to do that later. So I still think scales sometimes, and I mostly think major scales and modally, as opposed to pentatonics. It's just the way I was taught. So I often, when I teach players who are learning this and they're scale-like players, I say, you know, one way of doing this is to find the odd chords in the progression and then stay within a key, you know, try doing that. And then when you hit that odd chord, think about a specific note from that chord that you're going to hit. And that's a powerful way of doing it. But anyway, we can talk more about that. C major 7th to G sharp, C major to G sharp major. All right. Oh, I love that. What's a song that comes in, Embry? Influence Metallica. Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, I don't mind playing the influences of Metallica. Metallica is probably at the edge of what I'm interested in playing. Like UFO, great stuff, right? But, you know, the bands that copied UFO, I don't know. All right. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not the only one to do that. You know, I picked that up from somebody else who said, you know, just play over a scale that you're comfortable. And when there's an odd chord, play very deliberately over that chord. Oh, I know who it was. It was Herb Ellis, jazz guy. I heard him on a video telling that. And I thought, that's interesting. And I think the way that he said he was playing a G blues. but it's a you know, in so he was saying that over that E7, said you don't have to. It's kind of an out of the key chord, right? Of a G, of G major. I said E7, but he said you don't have to play that that third of the E, but if you do, it sounds really good. And you'll see that it does. And then you're just one note away from the G when it resolves. Anyway, I heard that advice from him. Play very deliberately over that chord is what I took away from it. John Martin? Yeah, UFO is great. I mean, Schenker, right? Can't get much better. A minor major. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we'll do some different progressions. That sounds like a lot of fun. And that's the kind of stuff that I like playing around with anyway. So, and feel like I can always learn more. So why not? Yeah. Let's have a good rap to it. John Martin. I have it. I'm going to write him down too. John Martin, or it's John Martine. I don't know. I'll find out. Somebody said the thing, if wishes were horses. I downloaded that song. That's a great song. It's a very Hendrixy type of song. I don't know who said that last time, but boy, that was a good song. And I can't remember the artist. I should know this. He was a good guitar player. All right, so we'll write down some changes here. C to G sharp major. Okay, cool. Let's see. Why don't we just talk about one, since we're in a changes mood? Why don't we just talk about some simple stuff, and then call it a day? You ever wonder why? Let's talk about minor blues progression. Okay, so let's play it also in A. Minor blues can be played in a couple of different ways. The one is to play the one chord as a A minor, the two chord as a D minor, the 4 chord, and the 5 chord as an E minor. Right? So you can play that, but you probably know that a lot of times that E minor becomes an E dominant 7th. Right? And in some of the cases, people will play that Hendrix chord, which sounds awesome in a minor blues. And it sounds great. So I always wondered why you couldn't put that on the 4 chord. It sounds wrong on the 4 chord. And best I can figure, when I was thinking about it, now it does actually work in an A minor when you're playing over a minor blues. You can put in like a minor 9th there, or a minor 7th, playing that note. But over that E dominant, it works really well because that 7th right there, that 7th is one of the key things of that flatted 7th is one of the key things in any minor or major blues. If you're playing that A, that G is going to be a key note. It's just a super key note in any blues in A is going to be that flatted 7th. At least that's the way I think about it. And you can see sort of as a minor pentatonic. works, right? Anyway, so that's one way to think about it. There's probably a zillion different ways to think about it, but I think about it in terms of that. The G, super important note in any A blues. That's that flatted seventh. And a tension between the minor and the major, right? That's it. All right. Anyway, I think maybe we call it a day. Well, I think maybe we call it a day. That was kind of off the cuff, but anyway, you get to hear how my head normally thinks about such things. Okay. Well, I hope you enjoyed this one. Yeah, just keep in mind those 2-note chords and be creative with the really simple things. You hear, if you want to listen to Albert Lee playing the same old, that's all they're doing. Buddy Guy, they're playing variations of that. I was just listening to Freddie King's Big-Legged Woman, the studio version. What a great song. And that's all just super simple stuff, right? But creates a real masterpiece out of it. That's the blues. Simple but subtle. All right. Hey, everybody, have a great rest of your Sunday. Thanks for sharing it here with me a little bit. Really appreciate everybody showing up and spending time and all that. Always appreciate the support. So thank you very much. We'll see you next week. We'll use probably one of your topics. And till next time, we'll see you on down the road. Bye-bye.